Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Season 3, Episode 3 of Wind Down Wednesday with my Lady of the Week. I missed you guys so much last week, but due to unfortunate circumstances, my guest had to cancel, but we're back! All right, we got some people coming on into the wine room. Let's see who we have. Ooh, y'all showed up on time tonight. I love when that happens. Hello, hello. I've got Sharon Harris has joined us. Ooh, let's see who else is coming in. We're just going to wave to all of you guys. So listen, guys, I know many of you know that I am also an insurance agent. I have been an agent and owner for almost 10 years. And so tonight's live is all about the importance of life insurance. I know many of you have questions. How does it work? How it doesn't work? Term life versus whole life versus universal life. So I wanted to do this one this evening so that we could set the record straight for you guys. And you all will be able to ask questions. And that's what this platform is all about, providing you all with correct information. So if you guys will give me a second, I'm going to welcome in my Lady of the Week insurance guru, Miss Anquanie McSwain. So before we do that, you guys know the drill. Cling, 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 cling. Let's have a toast. Look at y'all coming on in here. Hey, Ramona, that's my IG BFF. I'm Ramona Cruz. Oh my God. Hi. Oh, and real quick, y'all, I got to give a shout out to my makeup artist. Look at these eyes, guys. Aren't they gorgeous? Alex, you always do the damn thing. Please reach out to him at MUA Alex with 2X on Instagram, and also Miss Lanny B the stylist for hooking your girl up, and she's at Lanny B as in Bravo the stylist. So you guys make sure you follow them. Oh my God, look at all the people coming in. Hey y'all. Hey lady, love you too, IGBFF. And I can't wait to meet you, girl, because we've been down for a couple of years now. And I just love you so much. Oh, look at all these people coming on in there. Hey Tanya, hey lady. Guys, please follow the Real Hair Icon. She is one of the baddest stylists in the DMV area. So make sure you guys reach out to her and follow her Instagram handle. Let's see who else we have in here. Hey Phyllis, that's my publicist at PCPR _ communications _ agency. She keeps your girl in the news. So, hey Phyllis, is Kalia on here too? I thought I saw her. Yes, my social media manager is on here, and that is Miss Kalia. Y'all all be talking about my social media and how put together it is. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's all Kalia. Y'all can reach her at KSW Social Media. Let's see who else. All right, Anquanie, we need you to push your button so we can get you on in the wine room so we can have this conversation, girlfriend. Let's see who else we have coming in here. Hey, Charles, C_FX. Hi, Charles. All right, guys, she just pushed her button. Give me 1 second, and I am going to the wine room. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Y'all see I am. I'm just so bubbly tonight. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm doing well, honey.
Wonderful.
Hi, everyone.
Wednesday. Girl, we got a lot of people on here tonight. They keep coming in, so I'm really excited about this conversation. And so thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so as always, before I get started, we always have to raise our glasses and have a little toast. Cling, 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 cling. And so I understand that you don't have any wine in your glass because, I don't know, have you made the announcement yet? Look, I don't want to beans or nothing.
No way. Actually, no wine in there for me. Not for about 9 months, right?
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Yes. We're excited.
That is so exciting.
We're excited.
So excited. Okay, girl. So could you please tell everyone who you are and where you're from?
Absolutely. So I'm Anquanie McSwain. I'm actually outside of Atlanta, Georgia area. Most of my family is from Florida, so I'm kind of a Florida girl, but I've fallen in love with Georgia.
Okay. Well, wonderful. And I'm always in Georgia or Atlanta because my son lives there. So I'll actually be there on Sunday. He's got his birthday and graduation next week. So yay. Woo
Awesome.
woo Atlanta. Okay, so I was telling everyone that the name of the live for this evening is The Importance of Life Insurance.
Yes.
And I think that there are so many myths and people just don't have the correct information or enough information to really make an informed decision as it relates to life insurance. So that's the conversation. And so I know that you've been in the insurance industry since you were 17.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
It's been a while, right? So my mom will tell you I was ready to get out of high school. I was like, what can I do to help me get out of high school? So I graduated high school early, 17, and I was like, okay, I'm making my way to college. And a family member who became a mentor of mine, he was in insurance. And
Okay.
he kind of introduced me part-time while I was in college. And really, I realized that the insurance industry was limitless,
Right.
you know. So I spent a lot of time in different roles, just learning that business and really just kind of honing my skill. And I really just fell in love with it. I mean, there's just so many different avenues: claims, customer service, agency, I mean, sales. There's so many aspects of it. So I loved insurance and I just stayed in it.
Wonderful. It's so funny because I remember when I first got introduced to insurance, I was like, there's nothing sexy about doing no insurance. But I quickly found out, like yourself, that there's so many different avenues and the impact that you can make on a community as an insurance industry, as an insurance, excuse me, agent is huge.
Yeah.
So when did you transfer into owning and operating your own insurance practice?
Yep. So I actually transitioned in 2015,
Okay.
and then got everything together and opened the agency in 2016.
Okay.
But yeah, so I started, in Lawrenceville. And what's funny is I actually transitioned from large loss claims adjuster. So if someone's house burned down to the ground, they would fly me out. And I would
Wow.
go out and I would help families put their lives back together, which was to me one of the most rewarding opportunities in insurance, right? To be there when someone really has lost everything.
Absolutely.
So I was a little hesitant to move into agency, but then I looked at it and I said, you know what? How many times have I had to deny one of these types of claims, which is one of the most unfortunate situations? And I thought, well, maybe an agency I can educate people so they can understand exactly what they need to know and need to have in their policies so that type of thing doesn't happen again. And so
Okay.
here I am.
And so, as I mentioned, as an insurance agency, you're able to make an impact on your community. And I know that that is something that you are truly passionate about. And so, in which way do you feel you have the greatest impact on your community?
So honestly, I would say that question is kind of twofold. One, not only am I providing employment,
Mm-hmm.
to the community,
Right.
I have a staff that I love and, really appreciate. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so every day, a part of me is going hard for them. Part is obviously going hard for my family, and really just the education piece to the whole community. I really am passionate about life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the things that I talk about the most when I am engaging with people. It just comes naturally because I really, really love, this particular product and what it does for families. I've had
Absolutely.
calls where customers did not have the policy or it lapsed or to the verse side of that, where I've had customers call and say, you know what, we've had a passing and we need help, and I'm able to write that check for them. And it's so rewarding,
Yeah.
to be able to help people. So there's just different facets of the insurance agency that really just helps the community. I mean, even sponsoring, your local clubs and schools. I mean, there's just so much give back when it comes to the agency.
Okay, guys, so this is where I really need you guys to grab your pen and paper so that you can take down these notes, because I always say what you don't know, you can't fix, and when you know better, you can do better. And so this live is really to educate you on the different types of life insurance, why you need it, and how it works. So funny enough, the post that I did today, I said GoFundMe is not life insurance, right?
Mhm.
Because how many times do we see on our timelines where people are trying to raise funds because somebody passed away? So all of that means is that they did not have a plan in place. So Anquanie, can you walk us through the different types of life insurance?
Absolutely. So there are various types of policies. You have what you call permanent life insurance, which is what most people think of as like whole life insurance. Then you have temporary insurance, which is where the word term insurance kind of comes into play. Then there's also universal life policies. You have variable life policies, and the universal, I'm step back. The universal has a combination of whole life and term built into it. And then when you look at your variable policies, you're actually adding in a component of more of like risk taking, starting to kind of dabble into the market from an investment perspective, but also life insurance. And then another piece that most people are probably fluent with, more fluent with from work, is like group life policies. So
Right.
there's various types of policies out there, which is why, like you said, I think sometimes, especially in our community, they're just uncertain of
Right.
what to do or how to do or what to choose. And if you're not with the right agent who can help educate you and
Hmm.
really help you with an informed decision, you can kind of end up with something that may not be the best fit for you.
Right. Okay, so let's break it down for them. So let's talk about term life insurance and how that works.
Yep. So with term life, it is exactly what it says. It's temporary. It's temporary insurance, and it's for a term of time. So most people will get, a 20-year term or a 30-year term. And when you have that term policy, eventually after that term, you no longer can, I would say, can't afford it because the premium becomes a little bit more inflated than most people expect. When you think about whole life, um, I always tell people it's exactly what it says. You'll have insurance your whole life. And there are different policies that are built in, or that are, are included in that. But with that whole life policy, you will have it your entire life. It will never expire. It does grow some cash value for you. So most people tend to enjoy that particular policy. Me personally, that is one of my favorites. But there are different reasons why you have the two policies, right? So for example, myself, I'm a young mom, and we have properties, and so the whole life, you get a little bit of insurance for a lot of money, so to speak. It's a little bit more expensive because of the cash growth benefits that are built in. However, I do know the benefits of it not expiring. But when it comes to the term policy, it's really the policy that's going to give me the most life insurance, right? For the least amount of money, and it will help cover some of those properties, right? Some outstanding mortgages, or should something happen to me now, the kids can go to college. So it's for some of those larger assets that you may want to have paid off when someone passes.
And so I always, when I'm describing it to my customers, I typically say term is like renting an apartment and whole life is like buying a house. And so the thing with term is that, you can lease this apartment, and maybe after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, at some point you're going to move. But if you decide to stay there and I'm your landlord, I'm going to go up on your rent. And so that's what happens in a term policy. Whereas whole life, it's a flat rate and you pay it for your entire life. And just as Anquanie mentioned, it builds cash value in that policy. And so what the company does is they take your money, they invest it, and then the dividends and interest are put back into that policy. And that is where the cash value comes from. You can have actually both of them at the same time. So you can get a whole life policy, and we can add what's called a term rider on it, just as Anquanie mentioned, to cover those mortgages or properties or what have you. And then at a certain point, that term will fall off. Can you talk about how universal life policies work?
Yep. So the universal is similar to what you explained. It has coupled with the whole life and then term life put together. And so you'll have that policy for your entire life. However, the term piece will fall off at a certain point in your life. There are riders that you can add to a universal life policy. Some, for example, if you need some medical assistance, those are endorsements that can be added. And some of the other policies along with the UL, you can add even your children as riders if they're, at a certain age, and that will vary based off of company. But the UL is actually probably one of the more affordable and more favorable policies. You can actually choose, it's a little bit more flexible in your payments. Yes. If you need to make some adjustments. So that's always nice. But again, it's just something that, based off of your circumstances, because it's not cookie cutter, it's not one size fits all. It's really important to talk with your agent and have them sit down and explain based off of your needs. Mm-hmm. And of course, as you know, needs change.
Absolutely.
Right. So you've got to be prepared to have had that conversation early on.
So speaking of needs, I find that most people pick a random number when it comes to life insurance. So can you talk about some of the things that should be part of the decision when coming up with that number for the face value amount of a life policy?
Absolutely. So most people will call me and say, I want 100,000.
Right. Yep. That's like the magic number, right?
Yeah. And I say, okay, well, that sounds nice, but where did you get that number from? And most people will be honest and they'll say, well, it just sounds like a good number. That's what they'll say. And I say, okay, well, let's actually sit down and talk about that and see if that's a good number. Okay, so tell me this. Do you own a home? Yes. Okay. Do you have children? Yes. Are they minors? Do you expect to help put them through college? Yes. Okay. Would you like the home to be paid off if you pass away before the mortgage is paid? Yes. Okay. Would you like to leave money towards your grandchildren's college, perhaps? Yes. I'm a part of, a charity. I would love to leave some money there. And then before you know it, $100,000 was not enough.
Not enough.
And we haven't even talked about perhaps their burial arrangements.
Or debts, or any, right? Or what happens when you're married and your husband or your wife passes away, the loss of income. Absolutely. If you're in a 2-household income and you lose that income, a lot of people don't account for that as well. Absolutely. And so as Anquanie said, if somebody is just selling you a policy and they haven't really truly walked you through the steps and really shown you exactly what you need, why you need it, and all the different areas of your life, they're not really concerned with you. They're just trying to make numbers. So be very, very, very careful when someone approaches you in that manner. You also mentioned group life as in a company policy. So yes. Let's talk about how that works and what most people don't know, what happens to that policy when they get fired or they leave.
Absolutely. So that is one of probably the most combated answers that I receive is, I already have life insurance. And I said, okay, well, let's talk about that. I have life insurance through my job. And I tell them all the time, that is great. I'm glad that you had that much awareness to have that policy at work. And it's very inexpensive. So why not? Right? However, you need to have something outside of work, because what do you do if the job quits you or you quit the job? Or even retirement, right? So you can stay on a job for 30 years, but the day you retire, most companies, you're going to lose that policy. I found where it's very far in between where they've had something, it would carry them through, but it's very, very, very rare. So I would encourage people to step out, talk to their HR, so that they're comfortable in knowing exactly what they have and what happens when they leave their job or their job leaves them. And, and they're prepared, because really what'll happen, say, for example, I have a policy. I started, in insurance at 17. Well, guess what? I'm no longer there. Right. I stepped out and I opened my own agency. I'm no longer with that carrier. And so I don't have that policy. So when I actually purchased a policy here at my agency, I was in my 30s. Right. So I'm 30 years older, but I actually could have had a policy that when I would have had since 17, had I been educated at the time about the life policies outside of the group insurance through work. So it's very important. I always tell people, that's good. Keep it. Keep what you have, but you will need something outside of work. And another thing too, I think, sometimes people are afraid of the premium. Life insurance is something that if you at least have a policy, there are certain things you can do to build upon that over time. If you can't afford, $400,000, but that's what your debts total, then let's just step back. Let's ensure that you have something, right? Something that's going to be adequate enough should something happen. And then we can set up to build upon that over time.
Right. Guys, the goal is to leave benefits, not debt. So, when you pass away and you don't have a plan in place, like I mentioned earlier, you see all these GoFunds going on, and that's just a clear indication that no one had a plan, and you've left your family. So not only are they dealing with having to bury you, now they have to deal with the cost of burying you. And again, we want to leave a benefit and not a debt. Anquanie, what about business owners? Let's say we have some people that are in business together. Do you recommend that perhaps they each get a policy on one another as well?
Absolutely. Yes. That, and even a step further, key insurance, even for your team members. When you first came on the live, you start introducing some important people to you that are part of your team. And, if something were to happen, that would impact the business, right? And so the same for myself, I have key insurance on some of my staff members because it would truly impact the business, not only emotionally, right, but also financially. Right. So, it's important, especially when business owners, you have a partner, if something should happen, you want to be able to sustain the business. You want to be able to keep it afloat. So that's exactly what the key insurance would do for you.
And what about children? Should we get life insurance for our children?
Absolutely. So that's actually probably my favorite piece, to be honest, in all of this. Most people think that they're too young. And I'll be honest, I have several policies on my children. My youngest right now, he's 2 years old. And people say, you have insurance on your 2-year-old? I absolutely do. And I'll explain why. First off, I have multiple policies on him. One policy is so that when something happens to him, I can step back because I'm going to need to grieve, and I will need my time and I will need my space. And I don't want to have to worry about the mortgage. I don't want to have to worry about what's due next month. I want to be able to take as much time as I need to step back and come back whenever I'm ready. And so whatever that looks like for my household, that's how much I have on him, right? And so the same thing with some of his other policies. I have another policy that I specifically have designed so that when he turns 10, it's going to be completely paid off.
I love that one. Is that the 10 pay?
That is the 10 pay, honey.
Yes.
I owe no more money.
Right.
And I'm going to keep it because when he turns 18, I have plans for him. Right. Same thing with my 13-year-old daughter. When she turned 8, I opened her policy. So when she's 18, it'll be paid off. And I'm going to do 2 important things. I'm going to open up a retirement fund for her because she will be working. And then secondly, I'm going to take a portion of that and put it down on an investment property for her while she's away at college.
Okay. And so let's talk about that because I want to make sure that people understand. Mm-hmm. We mentioned that there's cash value that grows in a whole life, a universal life, and as she just mentioned, a 10-pay policy, guys. Mm-hmm. That cash is basically like a savings account, but better. Because in the savings account, you're only earning about 0.002%, right? Versus in a life insurance policy, it can be between 2 and 4%.
Absolutely.
And so there's this little thing called compound interest that happens. And so the earlier you get started, the more time that money has to grow. Understand that money is your money. What I mentioned earlier as the living benefit to do whatever you want to do. So I'll give you guys an example. During COVID, when people were out of their jobs, I had several clients who called me, right? And they said, "Hey, Tanya, what's in my insurance policy? How much can I grab out of that?" Some people had $4,500. Some people had $1,000. Whatever that number was, I was able to call and get a check to them. That's their money that they earn. So like she said, as far as her kids are concerned, she's got it for 10 years. After she's finished that 10 years, no more payment, but that cash continues to grow in the policy. And that is the one thing that I find most people have no idea about. Is that the same for you?
Absolutely. And not realizing that that's tax-free money.
Ooh, say it again.
Yes, tax-free money.
Yes.
So, yes, ma'am. And so again, it's so important to get all the details of it so you really know what you're purchasing.
Absolutely.
And there's so many facets to it. Like I said, that you can start small. You don't have to go big. You start small and then you can grow into big. Or if you feel like you want to maybe change or upgrade, you have the ability to do that. But don't think we have too much time, because again, you're getting older, right? You're getting older. And so insurance is, definitely more expensive as you age. So
Not only are you getting older, the other thing that you can't account for is that we don't know what's going to happen to you in a year health-wise, right? So if COVID has done nothing else, it has shown us that we don't know what the future holds, right? And so I'm just going to implore all of you that are on this live tonight, if you do not have life insurance, please reach out to an agent in your area and just get the facts. It's better to be informed about it. And now you can't say you didn't know and no one ever told me, right? So Anquanie, one more time, can you just repeat the types of life insurance there are out there?
Sure, absolutely. So you have your permanent life insurance, which is the whole life insurance. You have temporary insurance, which is where you receive the word term, the term insurance policy that will expire. And then also you have universal life, which combines both of the two, has that flexible payment option there for you, also grows cash value. And then there are some variable policies and that group life policy from work.
Perfect. And your key man you mentioned as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Right?
There's so many different policies that exist. So it just depends on your need. But it's funny you mentioned the health piece. So I opened my agency. The doors were open May 1st, 2016. By August 2016, my lungs collapsed.
Wow. You said your lungs collapsed?
Yes, for the first time ever.
Oh my gosh.
And, I was in the process of trying to, prove myself, trying to, show up in my agency and build my brand. And my lungs collapsed. And I literally had just gotten not only my life policy and my disability policy in place.
Wow.
Yep. And so after that, I really wasn't insurable.
Wow.
Definitely important.
Oh my gosh. So just like she said, you have no idea. And it's that being insurable, right? Because once you're uninsurable across the board. Like all of the insurance agencies kind of talk to each other. Yes. So they know when you've been denied by one company, it's on your record basically. So wow. That's incredible. And well, you're here now. So I'm glad to know that everything turned out okay for you. So, okay. So if you would, could you tell everyone where they can find you in Atlanta, your website, your address, give them all the rundown.
Sure. Absolutely. And I know you mentioned for them to reach out to the agent in their state. I want you to definitely do that. But even if you just need to pick my brain, ask questions, at least feel that someone that you've heard before, and, hope I've come off as genuine, you feel comfortable, please do call me, because it truly is about educating you and making sure that you and your family have what you need when that time comes. But you can find me. My office is actually in Lawrenceville, Georgia. We're outside of Atlanta. But my webpage is www.McSwainInsurance.com. So that's MCSWAIN insurance.com. And I'm very personable. My family will tell you. I don't mind sharing even my mobile number because it gives me a time to be flexible with you to be flexible with me. Send me a text message, and I can really set some time up for you. But my mobile number is area code 407-406-4471. And I'm more than happy to share any information with you.
Wonderful. See, guys, you guys have no excuse. You can't say no one didn't tell you. Okay, but real quick before we leave, I do have a couple more questions left for you, but I do want to open it up to the audience to see if anybody has any questions. So give me 1 second. I see a whole bunch of waves and a whole bunch of comments in here. So let me just see if anybody has anything. Someone said, I love universal life insurance. Yes, it's actually one of my favorite products. Let's see what else. Somebody said, great topic. So yes, thank you. All right, guys, does anybody have any questions before I let Anquanie go? Going once, going twice. All right. Okay, my dear. So what is the best advice ever given to you?
Oh, the best advice. I have to say it comes from my mom. I don't know if she knows that she was imparting advice, but she's really taught me to just know who I am and that I am who I say I am and I have what I say I have. And so I've taken that through life, and I've really taken that by the horns and realized that my tongue is powerful.
Absolutely. Life and death are in the power of the tongue.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, your favorite quote.
Oh, okay. So it's funny, I was reading a book to my 2-year-old last week, and I was like, I ran across like this quotes book, but it was for children. And it said, opportunity is most missed by people because it comes dressed in overalls and looks like work.
Wow.
Thomas Edison. And I thought, oh, that's amazing. And so I made sure I read that to him so he knows.
I like that. Repeat that one more time.
Yes, ma'am. So it says, opportunity is missed by most people because it looks dressed up in overalls and looks like work.
So true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Pretty powerful.
Okay, we did get one question, and I'm going to answer it. Young lady said she was denied life insurance because she was overweight. Does that mean for the rest of her life she can't get it? No.
Nope.
You just got to get under a certain weight and try it again. So no, you are not denied the rest of your life, but you have to definitely work on maintaining your weight in a certain bracket, whatever is deemed by the life insurance company. So.
Absolutely.
All right, Miss Anquanie, is there anything else you would like for us to know about life insurance, about yourself, or just life in general?
Well, you know what? One thing I will leave with that I think is important. When you think about life insurance, think about the people that would touch you or you would touch. And what I mean by that is, for example, I look at, okay, who would call me if someone passed and would lean on me to provide financially? Of course, my husband and my children. But if something happened to my mom and she wasn't insured, would my siblings call me? Absolutely, right? Same with my dad. Would my mom and dad call me if something happened to my siblings, right? They probably would. That's just kind of my touch point, and for many of us as well. Right. So think about your touch point. Look to the left and right of you. Think about who you would be responsible for, not just yourself or maybe just your children or your spouse, but think about who would call you. And I will tell you, honestly, all of those people I've named, I have life insurance on them. So that's important to think through. Just think about the people that are in your circle that would touch your shoulder if they needed some funds to lay them to rest. Those are the people that are important for you to insure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, my dear. Well, before we go, we're gonna toast it out again with your what kind of juice is that?
Honey, this is juicy juice, 100%.
Well, I got a little Moscato, so we toast it out.
Right, honey.
And again, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me this evening. I so appreciate you doing this for me. I really do. I know how busy you are. I take no one's time for granted. And again, I just want to say thank you so much, Anquanie. Okay?
You're welcome, love.
All right. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys. There you have it. All of the information that you need to make an informed decision about life insurance. You can no longer say, no one told me. But listen, y'all just can't go out there and be writing life insurance policies on people. You know, if you're 16 and older, you have to sign it for yourself. However, you can be the owner of that policy. So let's say you've got a niece, a nephew, an auntie, a grandmom, or whatever, as long as they agree to allowing you to get the policy, and again, they have to sign, you get to be the owner of that policy. And so as we talked about, the cash value that grows in a whole life or a universal life policy, that is your cash, not the person who the policy belongs to. It belongs to the owner. So that cash is for you. Also, as long as a child is 15 days old, you can get a life insurance policy. So I know sometimes we don't think about it for our children, but the younger they are, the less expensive it's going to be. And what did I mention about that health component that none of us can determine? Because look, we never saw COVID coming. And so again, if you do not have it, don't leave your company, your family with debts. You want to leave them with a benefit. You guys got any questions? You can hit me up in my inbox. Feel free. That's what I'm here for. And hey, we'll see you guys again 2 weeks, not next week, because my son is graduating from high school. I'm going to cry. But yeah, so I won't be here next week. We'll be here the week after. Thank you guys for joining us. And remember, being a lady never goes out of style. Bye, y'all. Bye.